This is one of those hunts where if I don't break the curse for deer in Colorado this year, I'm gonna be so frustrated. I had this tag, same unit, same season, 3 years ago. And I chased this one really nice buck and I ended up shooting the wrong buck by mistake. So I'm thinking that this time, Colorado Mule Deer, you guys are in trouble. Yeah, I've got an elk tag, a bull elk tag, and I've got a cow tag. But I'll be honest with you, my real reason for being here is I want to shoot one of these really nice mule deer that live here. About halfway there. I can hear all the ATVs way down below. And I know there's ATVs way up above. What I do is I hunt between all the roads from an elevation standpoint. The roads are on the benches and it's steep, ugly, thick stuff like this. And really what you're doing is you're looking for elk on the opposing hillsides. So you're walking up these canyons. Hopefully there's elk or deer going up one side of the canyon, you're going up this side. And you have 200 to 300 yard shots across the canyon is the hope. When you see us do these hunts on public land, a lot of you say, well, how did you decide where you're gonna hunt? And for this one, you're gonna see where I come up high into the mountains like I am right now, and then I go down low into the low country, the pinyon juniper. And then I try to see where I'm finding, if I'm hunting for elk or whether I'm hunting for deer, where am I finding sign or seeing animals? And if I'm down low and I don't see any sign, I move up a notch. And if I'm up high, I move down a notch. So I start trying to focus in on that band of, all right, where are the deer and where are the elk that I'm looking for? I'm gonna go from the far east end of the unit to the far west end. I'm gonna go from 10 to 11,000 feet down to about 6,000 feet and everything in between. I have a week, and part of my goal in every hunt that we do is the first few days are more scouting days than they are hunting days. Because I want to find out where the activity is happening. Well, you want to see who the ultimate deer hunter is in these mountains? Look no further than right here. Young buck got taken down by a lion here. You could smell it from a long ways away. Lethal killing machine the lion is, but hey, he's got to make a living too, so he's doing what lions do. So I'm sitting here thinking, you know, first day of the season, Randy, you have really struck out. You've seen a few does and fawns. You haven't seen any elk. And you really still don't have a plan. What I've done in this process of moving around is I've eliminated some territory. And for me, the scouting and learning is as much about eliminating territory as it is finding elk or deer. So now with day 2, it's like, all right, I know where I gotta go. I'm gonna go in between these 2 areas and see if I can find any deer, see if I can find any elk, figure out what's going on. Well, the wind's howling today. Looks like I'm gonna be trying to hunker down on the top of this knob up here and hopefully spot something, because this wind is carrying in a storm. It's supposed to be here tonight. Start out with rain, and at higher elevation we'll go to snow. I'm not sure what I'm gonna be doing tomorrow. Hopefully I'm gonna be laughing about that nice buck I shot tonight. I'm giving myself another day to find out.
If I don't find an elk in the next day, I'm pretty much writing off the elk hunting and I'm going after deer. Well, the weather is definitely coming in. That big ridge over there is a piece of BLM. I spent most of the morning trying to figure out how I could get to it, and there's not a road I can find. And as I figured, just a little bit ago, before this squall came in, about 150 elk fed off that BLM hill out into this field.
Leupold's Fresh Tracks with Randy Newberg is brought to you by Leupold Optics, Go Hunt Insider, changing how hunts are found, Kenetrek Boots for the trail less traveled, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, and by Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls. We call the game.
Just a little bit ago, before this squall came in, about 150 elk fed off that BLM hill out into this field. And then something, I don't know if it was dogs or trespassers or the rancher drove out there, but they just boom, took off running, went back up on that BLM ridge. But for the life of me, I cannot figure out a way to get up there. I think the snow is coming. Well, I wanted snow. Looks like I'm getting it in spades. I have a visibility factor of about 100 yards. It's gonna stop sometime either this afternoon or this evening, they say. And when it does, I'm gonna have the last 3 days of season that are going to be absolutely perfect hunting conditions. So. And having hunted as hard as I have for these first few days and knowing, all right, I've only got 3 days left, it's time to shift gears, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna look for a deer.
About to come out in the wide open. Right there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Wow, look at that.
Good sized bobcat too.
That's a nice cat.
And so I'm standing there looking through my spotting scope and I'm like, is that a buck working over a tree there? And so I dial up, we get the camera on it, and here's a really nice buck underneath a tree, just giving it the business. So I told Tyler, I said, you know what? We got to get off this ridge, cross this basin, hike up the other side, and we got to try get ourselves in some sort of position where we could get a shot at this buck.
I just glassed a really tall buck come up onto this big burn up on this ridge. I got to gain about 700 feet of elevation to get to him. And there's a bunch of does up there. He was just horning a tree, so I'm hoping he's rutting. I don't know what his fronts look like, but his backs are huge. I'm shooting that buck if he's there.
And it's a steep mother going up this hill. And it's nothing but pinyon and juniper, so it's noisy, it's rock, it's shale. And I'm thinking, you know what, when we get there, this buck is gonna be nowhere in sight. If you looked at this on an aerial map, you'd think that you could see 1,000 yards up in this burn. You get in these old burned out dead trees, one, it's noisy, and two, it's like trying to, it's like trying to look through fences. They're just, you can't see very far. I didn't see that buck. Saw a ton of does, saw some smaller bucks. At this point, I'm so frustrated. There's one good thing about yesterday, at least I found a buck I want to shoot. My search is over. I know there's a really good buck in this area and I'm gonna hunt him.
He bedded in a little opening there. Some ATV guys drove in below him in the dark, so they didn't see him, but I'm torn whether or not he's gonna stay in that bed.
Unfortunately, I'm over a mile away and I gotta drop off this face, go through that same trail I hiked yesterday and get up there above it. And it's taken us 45 minutes to get over to where we wanna be. And I look and now the buck's up feeding and he's feeding up just about to the point where he's gonna disappear. I range it as like 440 yards and I don't want to rush a shot like that.
Can't do that.
But in the range I can.
I've got a few more days. I'm just gonna let it go. And so I told Tyler, let's just sit right here and see what happens. So we sit in that spot and all of a sudden we realize why that buck got up out of his bed and left. Here comes a hunter walking through that opening. It's like, oh man, I don't even think that hunter saw that buck.
There's not much you can do about it. It's public land hunting. I wish I could tell you that it doesn't happen on public land, but it does. So it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm determined to wait this buck out till dark.
And so we sit there until, I don't know, it's getting late. And after the sun starts going out and the shadows are starting to fill some of these areas, Tyler whispers to me, he's like, I think I hear a deer. He's a nice buck. And I'm like, you on him, Tyler? How's the footage, Tyler? And I'm laying across my pack. I've got it dialed in and I mean, this buck is like, he wants to be a TV star. He's a nice 4x4.
I'm dead on him. It's all up to you. What are you gonna do? I think we can do better than that. It's up to you, though.
But I'm like, all right, Randy, you've hunted really hard. The season has had nothing but calamity. This guy is giving you this opportunity. He wants to be on TV. But he's not that really big buck we saw rubbing the tree. And I let him go. Sometimes it's not the perfect opportunity you're waiting for. It's not, hey, that's a really nice buck. He'd be one of my better bucks. You almost feel like if I shot that buck there, I'm cheating myself because I said, I'm gonna hunt this one specific buck until the season closes or I fill my tag. And that's kind of what caused me to let that buck go. It's a beautiful buck. Perfect shot, perfect everything. But I'd made a deal to myself that I was gonna hunt this other buck. I know, stupid.
Leupold's Fresh Tracks with Randy Newberg is brought to you by Howa Precision Rifles and Barreled Actions, Sitka Specialized Outdoor Wear and Equipment, Hunt by Onyx Maps, land ownership hunting maps. Nosler, when your tag is drawn, make it count. Load Nosler up front. And by the Boone and Crockett Club.
Oh, why did I let that buck go? As many hunts as I do in a year, the pressure is always there of, all right, you got to get a story, you got to get some footage. But every once in a while, you just want to do what you want to do. And so in this hunt, I decided I'm going to go and hunt that big tall buck, and all other bucks, too bad.
Well, I got to beat these ATVs up this mountain. Good luck with that, Randy.
Get up the next morning, way before daylight, go to the base of that big spine ridge, climb up there and get set up and wait. And wait.
Well, there's been nothing in these openings today. Not a single deer. A bunch of them have been up on the burn. So this last half hour, I'm gonna go still hunt up around that burn. And if I bump deer, I wanna bump them down onto these benches.
Start easing and moving, and there's deer over here and there's deer over there. And I get over to the back side of this burn and start walking, and there are deer popping out everywhere. And I look way across out on the end of the mesa, and I see two bucks. And I'm looking through my binoculars. I'm like, all right, the one on the right, I'm sure is the big one. And then they move back and forth. And I'm ranging everything, and it's hard to range them when they're in these burned trees. Fortunately, there's this pinyon tree that has not burned off to the side, and I range that, and I get a perfect range.
How far?
350 more.
Okay. Let's get it going.
So when I resolve that there's no way I'm gonna be able to do a prone shot, I take my Mystery Ranch pack, and it's got a little pocket in the yoke. I'm like, all right, I shoot like this a lot. I'm steady, set the dial on my CDS. I told Tyler, if he steps into that little pocket there, if I can clear that limb right underneath him, I can make this shot easy.
Whenever you're ready.
And when I shoot, I see the buck jump and buckle, and I'm like, he's dead. And Tyler's like, I think you better shoot him again. And
He's down, isn't he? I can't shoot now. Nothing but brush in the way. That's the other one.
And I'm thinking the deer's laying there dead. And we wait, and we wait, and we wait. And all of a sudden, the deer starts, you can barely catch little glimpses of him walking straight away from us. I'm like, what the hell? That first shot felt perfect. I saw him jump. Now he's walking away. He's walking away like he's not even hurt.
Both shots felt really good. But we'll find out when we get there.
So we run over there, and fortunately, there's some soft dirt where you can see where the buck had been standing. And it's all scuffed up. We can't find any blood. We can't find any hair. It's yellow grass. I mean, it's just this bright yellow grass that almost white grass. If there was blood here, we're gonna find it. And we looked until dark. We did not see anything. We put our headlamps on. We're not finding anything. I'm not gonna screw with it anymore in the dark because I'm just gonna mess it up. So I gotta come back here in the morning and see what I can find. And so we get back to the room and you just see this little tuft of hair go off his back when we put it on the big screen. I'm like, no way. Don't tell me I just gave him a bee sting. That shot, that buck was dead. And we replayed it and we replayed it. And all we can see is just this little tuft of hair going off right above his shoulders. And so we spent the last day of the hunt looking for that buck. I mean, we scoured every place. We were on our hands and knees for hours in the spot the buck was standing at the first shot and at the spot the buck was standing the second shot. We never found one drop of blood. That buck's still running around out there. It haunts me. It bothers me. I mean, at that distance, I'm supposed to make that shot. So I leave Colorado with another deer tag that is not hanging on a deer. But when you work that hard to get an opportunity and then you blow it, but I guess the good news is that deer, someone's gonna shoot him next year. He got a little haircut and that's the end of it.